One thing about me, baby, I ain't no punk. So I don't know what you heard. I am not someone who hides from problems. I'm like, okay, well then if you don't want to talk to me, then stop talking about me. After my secondary client event, I get home and I'm like, okay, I need a break. I went on my computer and I just started buying all the tickets for the sabbatical. But when I got to Bangkok, I realized I'm addicted to busy. The overall cost of our sabbatical, it came out to just under.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high.
Hey guys, it's Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I'm so excited to be here today, and this episode is particularly special. Now, typically, we're talking about sales strategy, how experts can make more sales, land large contracts, sell from the stage, but not today. Today, we're actually talking about how to sustain success. And by talking about how to sustain success, what we're really talking about is sabbatical living, particularly how a 30-day sabbatical drastically changed and transformed my life. And so I hope that you all are ready because we're gonna talk about, for the first time publicly, my sabbatical experience. Now, I did a 30-day sabbatical in January of 2024. And before we get into where I went and what I did and if I liked it, I want to talk to you about why I had to go. Now, I'd heard of sabbaticals traditionally from employees who had, like, if you work at a company for 20 years or 10 years or whatever it is, they would give you a sabbatical. But I never thought about gifting myself with a sabbatical, and I never thought about taking a sabbatical myself. So let me know in the comments, have you ever decided to take a sabbatical? And for those of you listening to this, send me an Instagram DM if you're listening on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast and let me know if you too have taken a sabbatical. Okay, now let's set the stage. Let's set the stage. It's November 2023. I am doing Speak Your Way to Cash Live. It's one of the most intense events I've ever done, mainly because of the staffing. We had this issue at my November 2023 event where one of my team members lost all power, all electricity, wasn't able to help out, and they were the back-end operations person supporting the event virtually. They had all the links for people to buy, and if you don't know, one of the ways that we welcome new clients into the Speak Your Way to Cash community is through events. And it's also one of the ways that I recommend you welcome new clients into your community through in-person or virtual events. Many of you watching have been to our Your First Corporate Offer Summit, the Pitch Your Way to Cash Challenge, the Black Women Sell Live, or Speak Your Way to Cash Live, so you know how we do events. Now, our virtual events are fully virtual, not very stressful at all, chill. But our in-person events, y'all, are intense, okay? Like, we'll see if we could put a picture-in-picture of, like, just the vibes at one of our events. But, like, literally, if you're looking at the video of how our events are, it's music, it's lights, it's theatrics. I be having props on stage. I had a basketball court at Speak Your Way to Cash Live 2023 on the stage to just make it just everything. Because your girl loves the drama, right? Like, not in real life, but on stage. I like to give a little something. So the Speak Your Way to Cash Live event was going off great, no issues. The night before I'm supposed to make my pitch to offer clients to join my mastermind, it's late and we realize none of the links were set up correctly. Now, I believe I'd previously tested these links, but it's possible that I just totally missed it. I think we had gotten rid of our event planner really soon before the event. Child, don't give me the line about why, but we got rid of our event planner, so it was really us doing a lot of this stuff ourselves, okay? So we're testing the links, and I realized, like, 9 o'clock at night, these links aren't right. Why isn't this set up correctly? Is the automation working? I don't think it's working, so I'm having people at the table test. Now, my operations assistant or operations manager sets up all the links, manages the back end, manages the tech. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, y'all, we lose her. And some other newer team member at the table was like, well, maybe she just got tired. Because, you know, she was getting tired. And I was like, that's not how this lady works. Like, she would never just abandon ship in the middle of an event. So at that point, I had a choice, y'all. I could have been like, okay, this is taking too late. We're just gonna do the pitch end of day 2. We're just gonna, like, push it back. No big deal, and I'm gonna go to sleep. What y'all think I did? Did I do that? No, I didn't do that, okay? I decide to stay up all night and do it myself because no one else on the team, and this is my fault, and I'm saying this really as a lesson for you all too, no one else on the team besides me and her have as much access as we do. So like there wasn't another person who could have just gone into all the systems and done all the tech. And if you've ever had a team and you've had to administer passwords, you know how long it takes to give them the password and set them up and all the things. So instead of what I should have done is been like, we're pushing that pitch back. I'm going to bed. Y'all handle this in the morning. She'll probably be back online tomorrow. There's probably a connectivity issue, and then boom. But I didn't do that. So I stayed up all night, I did it, and I still did the pitch the next morning, and I was exhausted. When I tell you exhausted, I was so tired. I was like crying, I was so tired. It was just wild. Like it was the adrenaline, the pressure, the work, all the things culminated into me eventually having like a mental breakdown at my event, and that resulted in a manic episode at the event. Now, my last podcast episode covers like my mental health journey, what mania is, how it can occur, like what I dealt with, how we got through it and over it and all those things. So check out the most recent episode to hear that story. But I have this all going on, and I end up going to the hospital during my own event. I want to paint the picture for you, sitting at home in the studio audience of the virtual land. You're at your event that you've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for, that you have hired gospel singers to come sing at, that you have hired the best speakers to come speak at, that you've done all this stuff for your event. You paid tens of thousands of dollars for the hotel to be branded out. Like picture in picture, all the branding of Speak Your Way to Cash Live. Like look at all the stuff that we had, like just elevators, everything's branded. And you leave your event on a gurney, like, because you have a breakdown at your event. Embarrassing isn't the word. Infuriated isn't the word. Like, I don't know, a combination of both maybe comes 20% of the way to describing all the emotions that I was feeling. And not only is all that happening, but then you hear that people are like trying to commandeer your stage, right? So instead of people being like, oh my gosh, let's make sure Ashley's okay, we had one lady who was like, we need to protect the brand. Don't worry about Ashley right now. I'm gonna do the marriage panel. And like people were acting wild, okay? And so shout out to my husband, because let me tell y'all something. Y'all may think Chris is sweet and calm and kind. When it was hitting the fan, Chris went into like go mode, okay? Like he managed the event. He made sure the concert still went on. He made sure all the emails went out to tell people we were still gonna deliver all of the other sessions except the marriage panel. He rearranged the schedule. He told people what they could and could not do. He communicated with the hotel. Like he just held it down. He really held it down. My team member was able to get back online. Like they were able to do what needed to be done. However, the rumor mill was already open. Now, I don't know how how a rumor mill looks, but like, I don't know, that the floodgates were open on that rumor mill thing. So people were having all kind of rumors like, where's Ashley? Where'd she go? We don't know. Ooh, she had a breakdown, blah, blah, blah. Now, some of my clients were like medical professionals. So they were like therapists and stuff, so or academic doctors. They came to my room and were trying to like help out. But they were also telling people what was going on, which is totally unethical. Because if you hold yourself out, just pro tip, check your ethical rules, right? Because if I hold myself out as a lawyer to someone, even if they don't officially hire me as a lawyer, I may have ethical rules that say I have to keep confidentiality. Similarly, you hold yourself out as a medical professional, even if you're not telling the truth, or even if the person doesn't perceive, you can't say you're somebody's doctor then just to get access to their medical information and then go and tell everyone their medical information and think that you're an ethical practitioner. You're not. But so that's happening. You got people who are thirsty for clients and desperate, trying to tell people to join other people's masterminds, people that I have done a lot of good things for. But back it up. All this is happening, and my husband's main concern is my health. And he knows one of my main concerns is going to be my business and my health, but he knows like she would not want me to shut down her event or tell everyone to go home, right? So I go to the hospital, he holds it down, he finishes the event, he is calling the hospital. My doctor happened to be there, like my actual doctor, not the doctors who were pretending to be doctors, but like my actual doctor was there. So she was able to like make sure I was okay and do proper communication. So all of this is what happens at my November 2023 event. It was a hot mess, child. So I do the event. There's like rumors and all this stuff going on. I go to the hospital. People may not have known that I was in the hospital. And so they're mad. They're like, we need to know why we didn't see Ashley no more. I need information. You know, people don't really give leaders grace. And I'll tell you, many of you watching this want mass influence, you want leadership, you want people to follow you. That comes with a responsibility. And I personally don't believe it's my client's responsibility to manage or hold space for my personal issues. I don't believe that. What I do expect is professionalism and respect. I don't expect slander, right? So, you know, there's a fine line here, because on the one hand, clients are coming to you because they need leadership in a particular area. And so you can't always trust that they're gonna be able to hold space for you because they're not your friends. What's the problem in the coaching space is that there's a really, 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 really thin line. Because we friendly, but we not always friends. You know what I mean? And so it can sometimes, even to me, it can confuse even me. Because I'm like, if we were friends, if you love me and all this other stuff, why would you do this? And I had to remember, no, client first, friend second, you know, just to keep my expectations in alignment with reality, right? So there's a lot of little nonsense happening. Once I get out of the hospital, we do I hire a publicist. We make a formal statement. We do a live video to all those who attended the event, and we send out a formal email, written apology. We do a video apology. Because at the event, while having this breakdown, I was on stage, so I was like really aggressive. I think I like stomped on the stage. I used profanity. In my room, it was just an aggressive display of a myriad of emotions. And you're not in control of what you do at that time. So it wasn't like I secretly meant these things or I was trying to make people feel any kind of way. You're not in control. What my doctor actually told me was the part of your brain that's impacted when you have one of these episodes is like the same thing that happens when you have a stroke. And I remember talking to my doctor, and one of the lessons that I learned and the question that I was asked is like, if you would have had a stroke on stage, how would people have responded? Would they have responded the same? And I'm like, of course not. And she was like, well, I was like, I don't think so, but who knows? I mean, people are people. And one of the things that came up was, okay then, this should have been no different. And at that moment, I realized that there is stigma as it relates to mental health, because people literally divorce mental health from physical health, but your brain is an organ. So when your brain isn't functioning normally, whatever that is for you, whatever your baseline is, it is a physical health condition, and the same level of empathy you would give someone when they have a physical health condition is the same level of empathy you should give someone when they are experiencing a medical issue that involves their brain health, but that is not always the case. So after I do my press release email, I do my video, I realize there's still people in the rumor mill. So I'm calling them one-to-one, because one thing about me, baby, I ain't no punk. So I don't know what you heard, okay? But I ain't no punk, and I bet you ain't never heard it. So I am not someone who hides from problems. Let's be clear, folks. My job before this coaching industry was to be a trial lawyer. That means I signed up to fight with my words and my intellect for life. That's what I thought I would spend my life doing, is fighting on behalf of my clients, advocating on behalf of my clients. That's not a profession you go into if you are a passive and or person who's conflict avoidant. Okay, I actually have to make sure and pray that I'm not conflict, I don't know what the opposite of avoidant is, but like conflict down for whatever, you know what I mean? So I am not on the side of like, oh my God, they're talking about me, let me go hot. That's just not my personality. I'm like, who said it, who did it, when, call me up, you know what I mean? That's my personality type. So I'm calling them up, I'm like, let's talk. Oh, I'm not ready to talk. I'm like, okay, well then if you don't wanna talk to me, then stop talking about me. You know what I mean? So all this stuff transpires, and there was one person in particular who used my name in a social media post and was like, if Ashley doesn't give me a refund, I'm gonna tell everyone that she's crazy, or I'm gonna tell everyone that she has a manic episode. And this girl emailed me and was like, Ashley, if you don't give me a refund of all my money, mind you, she had made over 100 grand in our program and we had that on video. If you don't give me a refund of all my money, I'm going to tell everyone that you had a mental breakdown at your event or that you were manic. It was something to that effect, right? It was a threat. Man, my response to that email, boy, I responded and I was like, do your worst, okay? So she goes online, makes some posts, people in the comments, because if you give a bully some backing, baby, they think they are invincible. But honey, one thing this lawyer gonna have is some contracts, and when they go low, we go legal. Now, most people get a cease and desist if they act out of alignment with our agreements. This particular instance, we just went ahead and sent her an arbitration agreement. I just went ahead and handled it like a lady, went legal like a lady, because I'm never going to stoop. I'm not about to bend down. I'm not gonna do that. So, hey, you wanna talk about me publicly? It's fine. I actually blocked this person and I had my team monitor all communication. And that is the beauty of having a team. I had my team monitor communication. I hired an attorney. And after that, y'all, I energetically divorced myself from that. When I say energetically divorced, I prayed for that woman. I hope she figures out her life. And I moved on. I went right into serving my new clients because that event, even with everything that happened, still was a 7-figure event for our company. We enrolled so many new wonderful clients and I had to serve them. So one of the hard parts about going through things as a leader, wow, I don't know why I just did that well right there. Hopefully y'all did a little well with me. But one of the hard parts about serving as a leader, you guys, is leaders aren't afforded recovery time, right? Leaders are not given, we just wanna make sure you're okay. Leaders are not given that. And so what I learned is that leaders have to take it. The same way we're aggressive about growing our businesses, the same way we're aggressive about getting new clients, the same way we're aggressive about serving our clients in excellence is the same way we have to be aggressive about rest and making sure that we have exactly what we need to serve at the highest level, because no one is giving it to you. And a part of the psychology behind that, in my opinion, and maybe a social scientist will be in the comments and let me know if you relate to this, but a part of the reason that happens is because when you perceive someone as having more than you, your empathy level for that person decreases by the degree that you think they have more than you. Let me give you an example. Do you all ever wonder why people are so comfortable sharing news about celebrities who they do not know? Because as the gap gets wider between what you perceive them as having and what you have, so does the gap between how much empathy you have for that person. But people have uncles and cousins and all kinds of people who they know are doing negative things, who they know are not doing right. And will they ever just blast them and tag them? Rarely. But they're very comfortable talking stuff about rumors, about people they don't know. Why are we so comfortable with that? Because they think that the gap is so wide that that person will never come for them. But guess what? People are people. And if you wouldn't say it to their face, you shouldn't say it on the internet. I don't know why people have such boldness with their little Twitter trigger fingers, but they have no ability to communicate how they feel directly to a person. I think that the social media age is kind of breeding this punk era, and I just don't like it. It's just not for me. 0 out of 10. Highly do not recommend. So all this is happening, right? You got some little people online, people making comments, oh my God, I agree. People also making comments, I don't agree. Didn't you just say you love that girl? Is this the same girl you said you love? I hear great things about her. So you got both of those things happening. And I'm seeing all this. I still have to serve my clients. I still have to do everything. After we filed the arbitration against this person, we sought a preliminary injunction, which literally means, hey, arbitrator, or judge, or whomever is in control of this, we want you to, based on what you see here, just in our filing, make them stop whatever the behavior is. And we won, W-O-N, that preliminary injunction. Now, preliminary injunctions, just to put on my lawyer hat for a minute, You only get a preliminary injunction if you have a high likelihood of success on the underlying merits of the case. So what that means is the judge has to believe that not only you will win, but there is a high probability that you will win the full case. So after you get this preliminary injunction, then what you have to do is move forward with discovery and litigate the entire case, okay? Now, for my business owners, get your pens and paper ready. Litigation is very, very long and very, very expensive. However, it makes no sense to have contracts that you refuse to enforce. If you're gonna have a contract, you're gonna need to have a line. Maybe it's an internal line, maybe it's something else, but you wanna have a line where it's like, if someone crosses this line, I'm suing them. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not litigious. This is the first time I've ever had to sue anyone who was a former client of our company. We have had people who owe us money. We've had people who talk stuff about us. We've had people who are ignorant as they come. But you know what? 99% of our clients are incredible. So we've never had to sue someone. It's always been a conversation. And many times it's just been me giving grace. Let's be clear. We've had standing. Many times it's just been me giving grace, but there are some lines that we don't cross. And so when they go low, we go legal. Because what I'm not going to do is go back and forth with you publicly. I have too large of an audience for that and too much responsibility as a leader to be seen as doing that. That's not the story, right? And I'm only telling this part of the story so that you all know what to prepare for in leadership. It's not just the money, the love, the influence. There are some negatives that come with business, but I'll tell you something else. Let me tell you this. Every sizable company has a litigation or has a legal department. Every sizable company has lawyers. Every sizable company has assets that need protecting, has trade secrets that needs protecting. They have trademarks that need protecting. So you're not a failure, you're not doing something wrong if you have to bring suit in the course of business. It just means you've elevated to a level of business that requires a legal strategy. So make sure you have a lawyer you can call who's not afraid to say, this is actionable, we need to go forward, and I will fight for you. If you don't get the sense that your lawyer will fight for you, then you should not work with that lawyer. Now, this is not legal advice, this is just information. You know, I am a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. And so I want to make sure that I'm just giving you guys, this is really just business strategy and advice. Okay, now that's all of this happened before we get to the sabbatical. Okay? Now, of course, we have, I told y'all, 99% of our people are off the chain in a positive way. You're going to have that 1% though, that's going to test your gangster. So that 1% was busy, okay? So the 1% is like, you know, sending us little messages, doing little things, never to my face, you know, always to the team. And one day, I don't know what happened specifically. I think it was like after we welcomed in our new clients, we were still hearing like slight nonsense, but after that, and the other thing is after that preliminary injunction was won, a lot of nonsense publicly died down. Now, just so you all are clear, if someone brings suit against you, they go through something called discovery. They can have access to your emails. They can have access to your phone messages. They are going to seek access to prove their case. That is the law. So before you do anything messy, just know you're going to eventually have to produce documents to the other side that you may not want to produce. So the best thing for you to do is to conduct yourself like a reasonable person at all times. But if you don't, and litigation ensues, the discovery process gives them a lens into all behavior relating to the case, okay? Are we clear on that? So all this is happening before December, and I think it was early December. I was sitting at home and I was just thinking about everything that I went through because, you guys, it went from event to hospital to press release to serving new clients. We did a whole nother event within a month, a little over a month of our initial event. So all this is going down. I get home after my client event, my secondary client event, which was amazing. All of them were incredible. After my secondary client event, I get home and I'm like, okay, I need a break. I was like, that's it. And I think I had that thought because what I saw, not from a lot of people, and if any of you all can relate to this, let me know, but I seen people that we had done so much for treat me so bad and gave me no grace. Like they had no, like it was like I was consistent for a decade, right? Ever since they knew me, years of consistency, at least 1 year of consistency, many of them 5, 6, 7 years of consistency. One day where my behavior is inconsistent and no one thinks, dang, I wish she's okay. Instead, they think, well, let me see if I could take some clients. Let me see if I can mess up her business. Let me see if I can blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, wow, okay. I need a break from this. I was like, I need a break. And I went on my computer and I just started buying all the tickets for the sabbatical. And I think another thing that I thought about was not only are these the same people that we did a lot for, these are the same people that we spent a lot on over and above what they purchased. So like they purchased the program, but we gave them like trips to the Four Seasons and all this other stuff that was not included. And I had to ask myself, Ashley, why were you over delivering because you felt insecure about how much you were charging? How real can we be? And what I realized was, oh my gosh, I wasn't over delivering because it would get them to the result faster. I wasn't over delivering because, I really felt like God told me to do it. I was over delivering from a place of insecurity because of the rates that we charge, even though we have the experience, the data, the success stories, and the consistency to back up our rates, bar none. Most people who come close to teaching what we teach at Speak Your Way to Cash don't have a tenth of the frameworks, the results, or the experience negotiating 5, 6, and 7-figure deals that we do. And none of them, as far as I'm concerned, maybe 1 or 2, most of them are not even a lawyer. And if they are a lawyer, they have not worked at the #1 law firm in the world, practiced litigation, and tried all types. Like, the experience speaks for itself, right? And with all of that, I had to ask myself, why am I over delivering? Where is it coming from? And so I want to bring that point out because guess what, guys? Because I over delivered, I wasted my wealth seeking friendship from people who didn't need a friend, they needed a leader. And because I was over delivering from a place of insecurity, what resulted was women who needed me to lead them only received like, right? So what they needed was for me to lead them, but what they got was just for me to like them, right? So to keep them happy, to make them feel seen or whatever. But what they needed was for me to lead them because there were signs of character flaws that I could have called out as a leader well before it manifested into this big thing, but I didn't call it out because a part of me didn't have the maturity to call the person out on their behavior without demeaning the person. It takes a certain communication skill to be able to say, you know what, girl, that was a little bit petty. You shouldn't have said that. Why did you feel the need to say that? Instead of just kicking them out the program, right? Because like the easy thing is just to block them, kick them out the program, whatever. The mature thing is to have a conversation first about the why, about how it made you feel, about how it's inappropriate. Now, to be clear, everyone does not deserve nor demand a conversation before you cut them out of your lives. The more your influence grows, you're always gonna have like some people who don't like you or who are negative or whatever. But there are some relationships that warrant a particular conversation, but there are some that just don't. There are some that just don't. But in any event, if you are paid to lead someone, and I guess I gotta be careful here because I am hired most times as a business coach, not a life coach. Even though I'm hired as a business coach, many of our clients are not just looking to me for business advice. They are looking at how I live my life. So because that is happening, I do often like to talk about how we make our decisions, thought processes, because I know that if I teach you what to do and you don't know how to think, then you won't do what I need you to do to make money in your business, right? And so there's so many beautiful things about this story, but one of the beautiful lessons, I should say, from this story was I was able to unearth insecurities that only this level of pain would unearth. I just would have never gotten here otherwise. And the level of confidence that I'm on now is just like, oh, it's so immovable, it's so proven, it's so deep-rooted, it's so holistic, it's so soul-based that it is not going to be taken from me. I am so clear on who God has called me to be that, like, girl, it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? It's really nothing that anyone can do about it. And so that's the good news. But I was looking at my computer screen, pulled up Delta Airlines, and I'm like, I am booking a flight. No. I'm not booking a flight. I am booking flights. We bought Atlanta to Ghana one way. Then I'm like, where are we going after that? Then I was like, okay, we're going from Ghana to Bangkok. That was the next one-way flight I bought from me, Chris, and Christelle. And the next flight I bought was from Ghana to Bali. And I was like, we're going all first class, me, Chris, and Christelle, and we're gonna buy these tickets. And I had never spent this much on flight tickets. But I did it because I was like, if I can invest all this money into, you know, not even into my business, but into over-delivering on services that were not purchased and wasting that money, then I am going to invest into my family at a level that it's warranted. We had not taken a real vacation. All our vacations were pretty much tied to work up until that point. And so this was like it. I was like, I'm going on this sabbatical. I booked all our flights one way, first class, booked us a flight back, and it looked like we were gonna be gone for 6 weeks. After I booked all our flights there and all our flights back, I went and booked the lowest suite level at every hotel that I could. Now, why did I book the lowest suite level? Because I planned to pitch all the hotels we were going to get upgrades based on my social media influence, etc. I could actually, I'll make sure that we edit in the exact pitch that I sent out. I'll actually read it to you guys too, because some of y'all may be interested in this. Let me see. Can I find it? So let's see. Here's the pitch. Okay, the subject line was American influencer, speaker, and lawyer staying and reviewing your hotel. Hi, Name. We wanted to send you a note to let you know Ashley Kirkwood, an American influencer, speaker, author, and lawyer, is coming to stay at your hotel. Check out her introductory reel here. Now, that hyperlinked to my speaker's reel. And so I'll put a link to the speaker's reel in the show notes of this video. She'll be at your hotel from this date to this date with her family and reviewing it for her social media of more than 100,000 followers and her thriving email list and online community. She's considering doing a group trip and bringing American business owners back to stay as a group. Anything you can do to make her family stay more enjoyable is greatly appreciated. If you would like her to make a formal review video while there, please respond to this email to inquire about costs, etc. Since she's already coming, she might be able to accommodate a formal review for a room upgrade. She's already in a suite, but if the presidential or similar is available, she would greatly appreciate it. Her media kit is attached. P.S. I CC'd other stakeholders who may be a good fit for this. Now, that's the pitch. So I bought the lowest grade suite because worst case, I still got to stay in a suite. But best case, we'd end up being upgraded to a villa, etc. And we sent that out to every hotel that we planned to stay at. I booked a part of this trip with my American Express points. I was a new Amex user then, so I didn't have that many points, but I booked like some of the smaller flights and got discounts on some of the hotels with some of our points. And we went, you know, my family and I went. And you guys, we were supposed to be gone for 6 weeks. We ended up being gone for about 30 days straight. And then for the last 2 weeks of the sabbatical, we came back and just took it easy. The overall cost of our sabbatical, okay, I'm gonna share this, but I do not want you all emailing me being like, I would take a sabbatical, but I ain't got this kind of money and da-da-da. You could do a sabbatical at your house, right? It was just the way we did it with going where we went. It came out to just under $60,000. I knew I was gonna get some questions about that. Now, that included everything. Spending money, first class flights there and back to 3 different countries, all of the excursions, photographers, videographers, all of our meals. It included everything, and it would have been a lot more, but the Ritz-Carlton in Bali, Indonesia sponsored a portion of our trip. They gave us about a 5-figure sponsorship so that we were able to reduce our expenses while in Indonesia quite a bit, and we gave them a review in exchange, and also the Ritz-Carlton Bali. If you are a parent, it is the best place for you to go because they have a whole school on property. It's incredible. The food is top notch. They had a full-time nanny with Christelle who would just take her to the school. She learned, she played, she did activities, she swam for 3 hours a day. while she was gone during the day, me and her dad like enjoyed ourselves. We just talked and we rested. We worked out every day. We ate, like all the things. And so that was that. So that's how I got there, right? That's how I got there. And the first place we went was Ghana. And for those of you watching this, we decided of all the places we went to take a group back to Ghana in January of 2026. You can go to speakyourwaytocash.com/Ghana trip if you want to travel with us to Ghana. The deposit's only $199, and then you're able to pay on it over the next like year or so, 15, 16 months at the time of recording this video. So that's a great place to do. So I'd love for you to join us in Ghana. It was off the chain. Like I'll make sure to show you guys a screen on screen or just some images of us in Ghana. It's incredible. So we'll try to add some of those images over here somewhere. We go to Ghana. It's our first stop. I touch down in Ghana and I'm just like, whoa, it feels different here. It felt amazing. And Ghana's culture, like everyone loves kids in Ghana. It's a very family-oriented culture. So we had an amazing time in Ghana. Christelle went with us everywhere, every excursion. So in Ghana, we did not have a nanny or anything for Christelle. She went with us everywhere. We went to every excursion together. We ate every meal together. It was incredible. It was one of the best trips of our family's life. We did the naming ceremony and we got our new names. I'll add in a picture of us at the naming ceremony. We went to a river and got the history of the river and how when people were about to leave and be sold into slavery, they first bathed in this river. We ate incredible food. I mean, it was just amazing. We went to the shops and saw incredible artwork and brought back many of the artwork you're seeing in here. And I'll tell you guys, I'm a big art enthusiast. So I absolutely love artwork. I love artwork. And we were able to get that and bring it back and shop and get jewelry. But we also did an event in Ghana. So I'm in Ghana, I'm relaxing, and I'm new to the sabbatical thing, right? So I am relaxing, but I'm still thinking about work a little bit. I think it took me, the first 2 weeks of my sabbatical were really just about me trying to relax. It was just me trying to chill out enough to relax. It was so uncomfortable having people just serve me and take care of me, and I just felt like, okay, are they gonna ask me for something? You know, what do they want? Is it safe here? Is it okay here? And so the first 2 weeks, I'm just trying to relax. I'm just trying to relax, right? And then after the first 2 weeks, we were in Ghana for about 10 days, but on day 7 or 8 of the Ghana trip, I put a post on Instagram and I'm like, hey, no, it was day 6. On day 6 of the Ghana trip, I think I put a post on Instagram like, hey, I'm in Ghana. Would anyone want to meet up? Any of my audience in Ghana? Within a day, that post had so many comments. And so like I don't know if it was 100, it was like 50. It was a lot of comments on that post. And it was like, I'm in Ghana. Da, da. So we decide, let's do a Ghana meetup. Let's do a meetup in Ghana, okay? Let's do a meetup in Ghana. And so we decide to do a meetup in Ghana. And within 3 days, you guys, we have thousands of people registered. Well, not thousands. I think it was like 1,500 people registered for a Ghana meetup. I end up finding an event planner who lives in Ghana online. She plans an entire event in Ghana we called it Speak Your Way to Millions Ghana Edition. We had 300 entrepreneurs from Ghana show up live. And we had like 10 or 15 that opted to buy a VIP ticket. You know me, like there's always an upsell, right? So we had like 10 or 15 doing a VIP ticket. I walk in and I'll try to show you guys a clip of the Speak Your Way to Millions Ghana event. I'll try to put the recap video in a screen on screen so you all can kind of see how the event was. But I mean, it's a massive event. People are bringing gifts. People are saying how much our work has impacted them. I didn't even know I had an audience in Ghana. Do you hear me? I didn't even know. But we do it. We do it on the fly. And we get 350 entrepreneurs in Ghana. And so when we go back in 2026, we're gonna do a big event. We're gonna do it again. It's gonna be incredible. So I want you to go with me. So go to www.speakyourwaytocash.com/Ghana trip. We'll make sure the URL is here and we'll put it in the show notes. If you're listening to this, just go to that URL. We'll also put it in the show notes, but it was incredible. So that's Ghana, right? That's the first 10 days of our sabbatical. And me and Chris are just having the time of our lives, but we're going to a lot of excursions, so we're still really tired. So the next spot on our sabbatical is someplace we've been a lot, Thailand. So the next stop that we go to is Bangkok, Thailand. And we stay at, where did we stay? The Banyan Tree. In Ghana, we stayed at the Kempinski Hotel. In Thailand, we stayed at the Banyan Tree, Bangkok. And they treated us like superstars. They answered, so in Ghana, the Kempinski did not answer my pitch, but the Banyan Tree did. And so we got there. We didn't even have to go to reservations to check in. They literally were like, Mrs. Kirkwood, we've been expecting you. They got me, Chris and Christelle, they took us up into this like apartment style place and we're like, you all can check in here. This is that. They were like, hey, we know that you requested a nanny. We have a nanny who's gonna be on site who will just accompany you anywhere or watch Christelle. They had a playroom, so it wasn't like, they didn't have what Bali had, which was our third stop, but they had a little playroom, so Christelle loved going in there and playing, and so we would take her in there, or a nanny would take her in there, and we would just, I don't know, it was great. It was so relaxing. It was incredible. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all though. In Bangkok, the main thing me and Chris did was sleep. We were there for like, I don't know how many days, but we just slept. We were so tired. And we were supposed to go to Singapore after that, but we ended up pivoting to go to Bali because Christelle, this was her longest trip. So Christelle was ready to go home. We didn't go from Bangkok to Singapore. We went from Bangkok to Bali because I Googled while in Bangkok, on the fly. I Googled where do they have the best kids clubs in Southeast Asia, and the Ritz-Carlton Bali had the best kids club. So we ended up pitching all the hotels on the fly. We pitched them while we were in Bangkok. So because Bali wasn't an original stop on our sabbatical trip, I didn't pitch them in advance. I pitched them while in Bangkok after getting a list of all the places that have the best kids club. And so Bali responded. They said we could come there, and they treated us incredible. But in Bangkok, what we did, which was really cool, is we got clothes made. So we have some pictures of us getting clothes made. We tried out some street food, which we have pictures of. We slept a lot. We slept so much. And our time zones were so off. Like from Ghana to Bangkok is a really big time zone difference. And from Atlanta to Bangkok is an even bigger time zone difference. So that was the big difference. But I'll tell you this. I would wake up every day on my sabbatical. Now, Ghana was a good transition trip to like the Bangkok sabbatical because Ghana, we had a schedule. So it still felt like work, okay? But in Bangkok, we didn't have a schedule. We didn't plan anything because we've been there so many times. We were like, let's just let it flow. And so this was the first part of my sabbatical trip, about 10 days in, where I'm like, I'm waking up and I don't have anything to do. So I'm like, what do you do, right? Like, what do you do when you don't have anything to do? I had prepared my company for the sabbatical, not as in depth as I should have, but you know, my operations manager is great, so she really held it down, made sure all the calls happened with the mastermind, everything was fine. But when I got to Bangkok, I realized I'm addicted to busy. Like, it was the first time that I woke up in decades and didn't have anything to do. Like the thing that I had to do was rest. The goal was rest. What? Like, okay, agenda, rest. Agenda on day 2, rest. Agenda on day 3, rest. Agenda on day 4, rest. And so I realized I didn't know how to rest. And my husband has told me this because he's actually very good at relaxing. Like, he's very good at, okay, I'm gonna work and then I'm gonna rest. And I'm not. Like, I am pretty much like, I'm gonna work and then I'm gonna maybe I'll go get I've always engaged in what I call, this is not a technical term, active rest. So I will go and get a foot rub. I will go and get a massage. I will go and eat dinner with friends. I will go and da-da-da-da. But notice that I'm saying what I will do to rest is do. And this was the first time where what I needed to do to rest was nothing. And it scared me. I kept having this feeling that like, is the business gonna survive? Can we afford it? What if we don't make this? What if we don't make that? Now, mind you, we have recurring revenue in our business. So my business isn't such that I make 100 grand this month or 200 grand this month and then nothing next month. We have people in our programs that are on payment plans. And so every month we start the month with a certain amount of revenue already secured from past months. So we could afford to rest. I've been in a business where every month I start from zero and I have to make the money every month. I wasn't in that position. And I think just because I was so used to that, we even had one day while I was in Bangkok that I did a webinar. I don't even know if that webinar made any money. Like, it was totally useless. I mean, I shouldn't say useless. It was totally like, I didn't need to do that webinar. Maybe it made another 5, 10 grand, but it wasn't a big production. And the reason why it wasn't a big production is because there was no intentionality behind it. All of my largest launches have an extreme amount of intentionality behind the launch. But because this did not have that, we didn't get what we thought we were gonna get. You know what I'm saying? And so I say all that to say, as you are thinking about, can I do a sabbatical? You're gonna wanna think about, can I be still? Can I sit alone with my own thoughts for an extended period of time? Can I calm the storm in my own heart that's saying, do, busy, do, busy, do. Like, can you just pause and do nothing? And if not, why not? It took another 5 days of doing nothing, another 5 days of people being so kind to me, so gracious to me in Bali, for me to be like, oh, I don't have to look around, I don't have to look over my shoulder. Nothing's going to happen to me. Like, and also there's a certain level of guard that I'm on in the US at all times, just because of how our culture, we have a very, there are places I've been in the United States, you guys, or outside of the United States, where it's illegal for everyday people to have guns. In the US, though, anybody can have a gun. And I live in Georgia, so you know what it is, right? And so it's like, that's not normal. Other places are just safer, calmer. People aren't as angry. They have a culture of service. So in Bali, when everyone was just so incredibly gracious, hello, ma'am, how was your day? I'm like, my day was good. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm from Chicago. I'm in Georgia. I live in Georgia now, but like, I'm from Chicago, right? And so I'm like, I'm good, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, what's the angle? So it took me another 5 days to realize, you deserve this. You can afford this. So rest. Like, all of the days that you worked in your whole life, you never did this. So rest. You've earned this. Your family deserves this. And me and Chris, you know, we worked out every morning. So so one of the questions I get a lot about sabbatical is like, what did you do? Like, what were you doing? What was your schedule? In Bangkok, we would like sleep because we were adjusting to the time zone. So the first 4 days were just like sleeping. And then when we went to Bali, our schedule, when I think we really got into our rest groove, was wake up, go to breakfast. They had a sprawling, incredible breakfast at the Ritz-Carlton there. Go to breakfast. We would go to the gym. We would take a walk. Christelle would go to school. They had an on-site school with different activities. She wanted to go to school. And then we'd get Christelle. And then we stayed in a 1-bedroom villa there. And I actually have a YouTube video of the villa that we stayed in that I'll link to. But it was a 1-bedroom villa, and the villa was pretty long. And alongside the villa was a pool. So sometimes we would just get in the pool, play music as a family, and then go back to dinner. Me and Chris would talk. Sometimes a couple of days, Chris took a day to himself. I took a day to myself. Some days I would watch like podcast interviews. That's when I kind of got caught up on Club Shay Shay. Like, that's when I watched some of his longer interviews. And I just, I don't got time to watch no 2-3 hour interviews when I'm working. But like, I could do whatever I wanted. And I think what made me so happy was realizing, like, I'm here with my husband. I'm here with my daughter. I'm here with Chris. In Ghana, going back to the Ghana trip, one of the things that I was seeking in Ghana was to develop more empathy for the women that I was called to serve. I wanted to just learn more about my history to figure out like what causes is there a root cause to why we treat each other the way that we do, positive or negative? Like, is there anything in history, or is there anything in just culture, or is there anything in our native land that would just explain some of the things that I've experienced serving predominantly Black women? And largely it's been an incredible experience. Largely it's been a collaborative experience. Largely it's been this. But because I know that the way that I treat people is very consistent, some of the things that I've experienced just didn't make sense. And I'm like, I bet there's a historical narrative that would help explain this. So I really was there seeking empathy. And a part of what I was doing there is I was like, God, am I really supposed to do this? Am I really supposed to focus my entire business on serving Black women experts? Like, is that really supposed to be? And of course we have clients of other races and genders and gender nonconforming and all the things, but 85 to 90% of any one of our programs, if not 100%, is going to be Black women experts, and particularly Black women who've already gotten degrees, who've already had some success in corporate, who just want to take all that, stand on top of it, and win as an entrepreneur. And they all sell services. So a part of what I was seeking in Ghana was clarity about my calling. Because I was like, if I need to shift, I can shift. If I need to pivot, I can pivot. And I really felt like God was saying to me and clarifying for me, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do, but that's not how you were supposed to do it. Listen to that. God was saying, yeah, this is a part of what you are called to do, but that is not how I called you to do it. Giving people permission to get you out of character was a sign for me of a lack of spiritual discipline, because can't nobody make me mad, right? Can't nobody make me get out of character. Can't nobody force me to do certain things, because even if, and to operate in it. So there are certain things that can happen to you that will make you sad, right? Like if someone passes away, it's gonna make you sad. But there's still a level of choice into how you handle and walk out that sorrow. Similarly, there are things people can do that will make me mad. Like the first time they do it, it'll make me mad. But they don't have control over how I walk out that anger. Even the Bible says, like, be angry and sin not. So that tells me that there is a way for me to be angry and not sin. And so I'm like, okay, well, what is it that I need to develop? What spiritual habits and spiritual discipline do I need to develop so that I am not allowing external forces to control my internal narrative, right? And so, yeah, that's what I was supposed to do, but no, that wasn't how I was supposed to do it. I was serving in my own strength. I wasn't serving in the strength and the wisdom of God. And so a part of what happened while I was in Ghana was I got really clear on, you can grow this business, Ash. You can scale this business. This is like my self-talk now. Y'all are coming into my self-talk. You can grow this business, Ashley. You can scale this business, Ashley. It doesn't have to take you out, but you can't do it if you're gonna be the same person that you were when you broke. You gotta change. You have to evolve. And it wasn't that I had to evolve. I didn't need another sales strategy. I needed spiritual strategies that would help me to handle the weight of the calling on my life. And so Ghana was great because Ghana showed me. It showed me where I can improve. It showed me where I was insecure. It showed me where I had flaws. It showed me where sometimes I was serving to get approval instead of serving for the ultimate approval of God. And so that was where I got clarity. But Bangkok really showed me how to sleep, just rest, just go to bed. I just slept, right? And then Bali taught me how to be served. Bali taught me how to receive kindness from strangers without putting your own negative experiences with people on them. Bali taught me how to trust that there are still people in the world who will serve you, who will treat you well, who will go out of their way to be kind to you without having a manipulative agenda behind it. And I needed that lesson. And so overall, you guys, the sabbatical was the best thing I've ever done. When I came back, I was lighter, I was freer, and I did not pick up the baggage that I took with me on the trip. I experienced incredible, incredible, incredible generosity and love in Ghana. When I did that event, you guys, I had Chris and Christelle got so many gifts from people that we had to ship like 5 boxes of just gifts home because it was my birthday. I got 3 cakes. People were bringing me cakes and gifts, and they brought Christelle gifts and they brought Chris gifts. And I didn't even know I had that much community and love in Ghana. And so it just showed me that it's like, Ashley, your impact is not limited to the United States of America. You are a global thought leader, evinced by the fact that in days, you can throw an entirely new event in an entirely new country on an entirely different continent, and hundreds of people will come out, and not just come out, but come out bearing gifts. I mean, it just taught me so much about our origin, our culture, love. It was the best thing I've ever done in my life. And I just feel like I fell deeper in love with my husband. I fell deeper in love with my daughter and being a mother. I fell deeper in love with myself, and I fell deeper in love with God. So when I came back, there was this inexplainable lightness about me that I just continued to walk in. So we went on the sabbatical in January. And we came back like February something. So we were gone, y'all. We came back early February, and then I had to reintegrate into business. But I decided that I was going to incorporate sabbatical living into my life. And I got this revelation from our pastor when he was explaining why you don't need to take a sabbatical one time during the year. You need to incorporate sabbatical living into your everyday life. And so I learned that Sabbath, the word, actually means, you guys, rest. And I took some notes on this to make sure I really explained it to you all well. But the word Sabbath comes from the Hebrew word Shabbat, which means to cease or rest. In the Bible, Sabbath is a day of rest and spiritual reflection, not just a day to run errands or catch up on clothes. Now, in my mind, I've always thought when they say, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy, in my mind, that scripture meant, and the intentionality behind that was, make sure you go to church. Now, for us, my husband and I, when we go to church, until recently, it's never been restful. Like, we've always been on the praise team. Don't ask me to sing. I know what you're thinking. She can sing, can she sing? Can she sing? I don't know. No, we were on the praise team. My husband ran the praise team. He ran the finance department. My dad is a pastor, and my husband's dad is a pastor. Go figure, right? On our first date, we sat on the floor of the gym and just talked about how much similarities we had because both of our parents were in full-time ministry. And it just is one of the things that brought us really close together. And just me seeing Chris's love for God really is what I just fell for him because of that. And we also were both at the place, this is back when we were dating, we both were trying to be celibate until we were married. And so we were just so aligned in so many different ways. But that word has always meant go to church. But going to church has always meant go to work because we worked in the church. So I didn't realize until very recently that word actually means to rest or to cease. And so now I have days built in, and if I can't do it every week, I'm gonna be honest, I try to do it at least once a month, where I have quiet, alone time to rest and cease work. So now I don't just take a sabbatical every year for a longer period, but I have a sabbatical every month where I am just resting and ceasing and reflecting and doing what the Word of God says do for optimal productivity. Because God is so productive, right? He makes the entire world in 7 days, but he still takes time to rest. That's why he was so productive. And so one of the things that I heard from a mentor of mine that really just made it really make sense was like, God didn't take a sabbatical because he was tired. He took a sabbatical because he was mirroring how to be productive. You want to be more productive, then you need to take a sabbatical. So I invite you guys to take a sabbatical. I did 30 days. I try to do once a month now. I'll probably do another one January 2025 or at some point in 2025. I don't know what month it'll be, but it changed my entire life. It changed my walk with God. It changed the level of patience I have for my daughter. It taught me that you could be highly productive and still restful. And when I came back, we did another launch in February. That launch was one of our largest launches without me doing all of the stressful, with me doing the work without the worry. Still got to do the work, but I don't have to worry. And the Bible says, be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication. And so every time I get worried about something, I'm like, Lord, your word says, I don't have to be anxious for anything. And so I pray about my problem and then I rest, and I have this mantra: inputs on me, outputs on God. What does that mean? I'm going to put in the work that leads to the outcome, but I am not going to waste my mental energy or my mental space worrying about creating or manufacturing or forcing outcomes. Inputs, I control. Outputs, I do not. And my entire goal is for God to put his super on my natural. So I could write 50 emails in a day, but God makes those 50 emails reach 10 times the amount of people because I'm tuned into exactly what I should say. Or I could send out 10 pitches today, but one of those pitches goes to someone who sends it to 10 other people. I don't control that. I control the 10. I don't control where they go, how they're received, how people take it. And so that's where I really just have learned to pray and pray for God to put his super on my natural. And so you guys, rest is not lazy. That was a mantra that I held to myself, and I've really, I've had to repent for not resting more. And I've also, because of my level of productivity, I've learned this: if you are someone who is highly productive, you're a high achiever, the people around you look at you and they're like, I would have been tired 3 years ago. I would have been tired 2 years ago. I would have been tired. So people around you are not going to be the best sources for when you need to take a break, because they look at your mountain with their legs and they would not have been able to climb to the lengths that you've climbed. So you're going to have to listen to me, high achievers. You're going to have to be the one who is in control and conscious of the fact that, I'm tired, I need a break. I'm getting stressed out, I need a break. Because it's really difficult for people who aren't at your pace to deduce when you are doing too much. Because for them, you may have been doing too much just by doing one live video a day. But your pace, because of the muscles that you've built in building your business, you could do way more and not be burnt out. And remember, we are not only taking breaks when we're burnt out, we are taking breaks before burnout. I went on a sabbatical without planning it extensively because I did it in an emergency. It was like, I got to get out of here, right? But in the future, we're going to plan them out. We're going to know that we'll be gone. We're going to prepare our list. We're going to prepare our clients. We're going to prepare our audience and team. So tips for people who want to do a sabbatical. Number one, batch your content. As a high achiever, I felt way better knowing my emails were still going out every day. I still had posts happening on social media. That helped me to relax. What do you need to do to relax? Do you need to schedule your posts in your Facebook groups? Do you need to make sure that you make all your reels and drafts and you post them live? What do you need to do? Another thing that helped me, I wanted to take pictures of everything, but I didn't want to be tied to my phone. So I hired a video team and a photography team to follow us around in Ghana and to follow us around one day in Bangkok, or 2 days in Bangkok and 1 day in Bali, so that I had photos of the trip, but for the rest of the time I could just chill. I didn't have to be tied to a phone and do a lot of content. Third, if you have kids, ask about, do they have a kids center or a child center? If I could plan it again, we probably would have done more research into where is the best place to go with, they call them kids clubs. Where are the places we can go that have extensive and beautiful kids clubs? So that's 3. 4, take a book, not an audio book. So if one of the goals is that you want to really relax and unplug, take a book, physical book, not an audio book, okay? 5. Ooh, and this is a big one. I used an app called Opal, which was great because this app actually blocked social media from my phone without me having to delete my apps. And you can block social media, you can block text, you can block email. So for 8 hours a day, I would block social media because I caught myself being in this beautiful place all halfway around the world, okay? And I'm looking at Facebook. Why, sis? Why, right? And so there's an Opal app. There's another app that does it too, that will block social media from your phone. And the Opal app, what I really like about it is you could do what's called like a deep focus block where you can't unblock it. So you could do 8-hour stints without social media, which was incredible because I was able to be more present. And even when I got back, I've been more productive because I will still block it from my phone. I'll make my post for the day, respond to my comments, and then boom, we're blocking it. You know what I mean? And so those are some tips to really unwind and relax. Oh, pro tip, if you're gonna go to another country that has different foods, try to test out that food in your home country and see how your stomach responds. We did this with Ghanaian food. We do this with Thai food. We didn't do it with Indonesian food, but Indonesian food is very similar to Thai food in terms of how it affects me. And so we kind of were aware of what we could eat, what we weren't gonna eat, that type of thing, which was very helpful. And I think set your intentions. Set your intentions. If I had to give you another tip, it would be set your intentions. What do you want to walk away clearer on? What do you want to do that maybe you've never done before? You guys, after my sabbatical, our company's profitability is up hundreds of percentages. We're finalists for a very prestigious award. I've recently signed with a large agency to help me publish my next book. We have one of the big 5 publishers interested in my book project. We are growing at an alarming pace. I'm playing tennis twice a week. We've joined country clubs and social clubs where we can meet friends who aren't just in business, but who we can just talk to about life. We have a wonderful church home. It's just like quality of life changes. We bought a new home. We were blessed to buy a new home. It's been a dream. I mean, we bought a new home in Georgia. We still have our home in Chicago. We've been able to just get our second property under our belts, which is a big deal for us. And I just don't feel the need to people please. I really feel like I have clarity on my purpose and my mission. I'm not looking to be liked. I'm looking to be impactful. I'm finally ready to be the leader that I feel really called to be. And more importantly, I feel like I have tools and the confidence to be the type of leader that my community, my daughter, and my family and my friends need me to be. And I cannot express enough how slowing down has helped us to go up in so many ways. So I would implore you to take a sabbatical. If you want to come with me to Ghana, I'd love for you to join us. Just go to www.speakyourreadycash.com/Ghana. And for all of you that are like, hey, sis, this is an incredible episode. I want to learn more from you. What do you teach? We teach sales. So if you own a business and you want to sell more services and you are an entrepreneur, then I want you to join me at Black Women Sell Live. It's happening in October, the first weekend in October. It's going to be an incredible 3-day experience. And the theme this year is Black Women, the world's strongest superheroes. Everyone's telling us to take our capes down. I'm going to tell you to let that cape hold you up. Let it let you fly. Let it let you soar. Because if you put the cape in your hand and you weigh it, it's not the cape that's heavy, it's your thoughts. And so that actual conference is going to cover specific sales strategies for you, your team, making sure you have a sellable, scalable offer. And we're gonna do some deep dive sessions into all things sales. So check out this commercial about Black Women Sell Live. And then I wanna see you all there. I wanna see you all there. It's gonna be great.
What? This can't be right. Are these really my numbers? It feels like I could never get past this point and get consistent sales. 1 month I'm doing so great. The next, it seems like I'm not bringing anything at all. I don't understand. Am I doing something wrong? Am I not doing enough? Do I need to change my strategy? Maybe I should just quit. I need a sales intervention.
Did someone say sales intervention?
Who are you?
Ashley Kirkwood from Speak Your Way to Cash. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now, I heard a little bit about what you're going through, and I have the perfect solution. I'm hosting an event called Black Women Sell Live, because there's only 3 things that could be happening here, right? You have your offer development, making sure you have the right offer for the right audience. Your sales strategy, making sure you have a strategic way to get the right people to buy the right offer. And then 3, your sales execution. Now, I don't have time to go through which one you're dealing with specifically, but at our event, Black Women Sell Live, we're hosting an experience that'll teach you how to perfect all 3 elements that we just discussed and so much more. We're even gonna help you to make sales during the event and take action after every single session that you hear. You wanna come?
Definitely, sign me up. Where do I join?
BlackWomenSellEvent.com. It's going to be incredible. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's in person, 3 days. You'll meet a ton of entrepreneurs just like you that are ready to sell more and scale more. I'll see you there.
Connections and information? Yes, I'll be there.
Yes. Thank you so much for hearing about my sabbatical. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I do read every comment. Please like, share, and subscribe. We are so excited about we have our 4,000 new subscribers right now. We're so excited to have all of you, and I'm sure that number is going to keep flying up. I'm really grateful to do the work that I do. I'm really grateful to serve who I serve, and I hope you guys are getting some value from me being transparent and honest. You know, and a note on that, I only share what I'm comfortable with being misunderstood. Not that you all will do that, but because so many of you are leaders in your own right, I don't want you to see me sharing what I share and be like, oh, well, I'm gonna share this, that, and the other. I waited almost a year before really sharing why I went on a sabbatical, how we did it. We waited several months, right, to talk about what happened at the event. And one of the reasons for that is like, I wanted to make sure that I could talk about it without being like so angry or so emotional, et cetera. Now, I'm naturally a theatric speaker, so don't read into that. But there's no hurt behind it. And I say that because even everyone who did something that I didn't think was fair blessed me in a way that I can't even put into words. Every trial and pain that I've gone through, because it's brought me to this point, it's like, man, I would never want to go through it again, but I can't think of how I would have gotten this wisdom or these lessons any other way. And so I always want to be cautious about you all using me as a role model in that sense and explaining the why behind it so that you can be thoughtful and wise in making decisions for your business and your life. But I love you guys. I love our Cash Sleep family. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Ashley Kirkwood with Speak Your Way to Cash. We have over 300 episodes on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, but not 300 videos yet. So if you want to listen to more episodes on the podcast, go to Apple Podcasts, start at 1 and run it up, okay? We have almost 300 episodes. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Come and hang out with me in person in October at Black Women Sell Live. And I will see you all next time. Drop some comments if this was good. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. I need energy, need only good people that's around me. All the faith you can give, that's the